Hello, my podcast warriors or my YouTube warriors, whatever you're watching this on. I'm coming back to you with another episode. Now, today is kind of a smorgasbord of just shit that I want to talk about. I don't have the mental capacity right now to sit down and do an entire episode on one topic. I don't know, I'm like in a really big funk lately. I haven't been able to be focused or have a lot of energy. I'm not really sure why. If you can hear right now, I'm sort of sick, so I hope that you guys aren't annoyed with my voice. But here we are today, and I'm actually just kind of excited to talk to you guys about everything that is going on in my head or little things that I think about on the daily, where do you guys do your best thinking? I always wonder that about other people. I do my best thinking, or most thoughts come to my head when I'm in the shower or in the car. I always have all these thoughts, and it's I need to write them down. But one, I'm driving, or two, I'm soaking wet in the shower. But anywho, so I hope you guys just bear with me today. This is going to be episode 13, and I hope that you guys are ready to just listen to the things that I've been going through or the random thoughts that go through my head. But yeah, so let's get started. One more thing before we get started. I wanted to let you guys know about the app that I use to record my podcasts. It's called Anchor. You can download it on iPhone, or I'm sure Android, or you can go to anchor.fm. I wanted to talk about this app because I absolutely love it. You can record right off your phone, meaning I can record anywhere I take my phone. I don't have to go buy a microphone, this, that, the other if I don't want to. It also comes with special features such as adding sounds into your podcast if you would like. And my most favorite thing about this app is it takes your podcast and it distributes to other formats, other podcasts for you, like Google, Spotify, and Apple. So I don't have to go out of my way and upload my podcast to multiple streams. So if you're looking to start a podcast, or you have a podcast already started and you're not satisfied with the tools or the app that you're using, go ahead and download Anchor or go to anchor.fm. All right, so I'm actually in my living room right now, just curled up, cuddled in on my couch. I really wanted to be drinking a Starbucks drink right now. However, I am sick and I can't really taste anything, which brings me to my first thought. So whenever I get sick, I always lose my taste and my smell. That's always been normal to me. That's always been a first indicator that I'm sick. And when COVID happened, the C word, everyone was like, oh, you lose your taste and da-da-da-da. And that was crazy to a lot of people. But that always happens to me. So I was like, oh my gosh, am I abnormal? Or is this not common? Because I didn't realize that people were so concerned that this was a COVID thing when it always happens to me. So yeah, anywho, I do not have COVID, but does that happen to you guys? Do you guys lose your sense of taste and smell whenever you're sick, or is that just me? But anywho, so I'm just chilling here. This is my first time I'm actually recording, sort of, not live, but literally a couple days before this releases. Normally I have podcasts lined up for the future, the next 3 weeks. But I haven't been motivated. I haven't really been able to focus. So I'm doing this super last minute. But here we are. So let's just get into what I've been going through. If you are friends with me on Facebook, you know that my son just went into surgery and he's almost fully recovered now. It's been about a week. So he came out of the surgery ready to go. He's such a boy. but I had to wait 7 to 9 days before we took his bandage off, like the surgical like cut. So what he went in for was a hernia, and I keep on forgetting like the specific name, but basically his type of hernia was because his ab muscles had a hole in them. So what would happen was, sorry, God, I'm so fucking annoying when I'm sick. Through this hole, fat would go through the hole in his abs, and it would present like a hernia. So what they did was they cut him open. The hole was actually big enough for them to push the fat back into his body versus having to cut it off. So they pushed it back in, and then they stitched up the hole. Nothing too major. It was considered like an easy surgery, but to me, it was still like my little boy was getting anesthesia, getting put under, which, by the way, is not good for the brain. It's not healthy. And I just wondered, and I asked the doctors, like, what effects does this have on a child's brain? And she literally told me it's like not recommended. But unfortunately, with this hernia that he had, it absolutely had to get removed, because with that hole, fat could continue to go through it and it would get bigger and bigger. And then if it got infected or something, it could actually it could have cut off his blood and like his blood flow to that area, and it could have been like deadly if it wasn't caught in time. So there's that like was a really big thing that I had to deal with. Moving on, you guys, I am so freaking excited. Guess what today is? Today is the day I get my fucking birth control out, my IUD out, and I'm so excited. Now, here's the deal. I've had this birth control for a few months now, which is not a long time at all, but I have not been on birth control since high school, and here is why. So back in high school, I started on the pill, and I was put on a couple different brands, but no matter what, I always, like, my body always had a bad reaction to it. So with the pill, I would always gain like 12 to 15 pounds, whatever, but also I would start my period and I would never stop. And I remember back in high school, I was on my period for 4 months, and no matter what brand of pill I would use, it just wouldn't stop. So eventually I just quit birth control. It wasn't for me, and I've lived life ever since without it. And then a few months ago, I decided like I really do not want any more kids. And I don't mean to offend anyone when I say that, but like I have the choice to not have more kids, as everyone should have that choice. And I was like, well, the only way to like better prevent myself from not becoming pregnant would be birth control. So I decided to talk to my doctor, and we decided that the IUD would be the best for me, and it has not worked out. You guys, I've had the worst side effects. So ever since I got this IUD put in, I've been very, very moody, and also I've been like extremely tired, like wanting to sleep 10 to 15 hours, like all the time. So I'm always tired, always moody, and then guess what? My period almost never has ended. I think I've not had a period for maybe like 3 weeks for the entirety of this time of having my birth control for the past, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 months. And this time around, I have completed a streak of being on my period for 21 days. And around day like 18, I was like, I can't fucking do this. Like, I cannot be bleeding for this long. For the past week and a half, I've been having headaches every single day, and I almost wonder if that's because like I'm losing so much blood. So I went ahead and called the doctor to get it removed. Not to mention, another side effect that has been very irritating has been my boobs. So like, you guys, they are so sore to the point where if I roll over in bed in the middle of the night, I get woken up by the pain of the pressure on my boobs. and they hurt when I walk. They hurt with a shirt laying on them. They're very, very, very sore. And it's not fun to like live every single day like that. I've never had to deal with like my boobs being sore unless I'm pregnant, which obviously I'm not because birth control and I'm obviously bleeding. Sorry, TMI, but guess we're here for Life Unfiltered with Joe, so that's what you get is my Life Unfiltered. Now, another thing that I have thought about with birth control is like, why do us women have to pay to get birth control when vasectomies are mostly covered by insurance? Like, why do I have to pay out of pocket to not be pregnant, and then guys can go get it like most of the time for free? Like, that doesn't make any type of sense to me. And I don't know, that just like kind of went into some of today's topics of like sexism and how women are like treated differently, even in the medical field. But yeah, so, another thing that I've dealt with being on birth control is breakouts on my face. So acne has been a big part of my life ever since having my son. My skin has never really recovered from the hormones from being pregnant, and I've always battled with acne after pregnancy, and I finally got it under control, and then I got on birth control, and that fucked my face all up again. So one thing that I'm going to be starting again after I get off birth control today is called this like supplement. It's called Balance by Alain Nu. Now, I am not an affiliate. I don't get any commission. I don't have a discount code or anything, but I highly, highly, highly recommend. It's called Balance by Alani. And what it is, it's actually like a pill, and it actually balances your hormones. So it helps with sleep, it helps regulate your cycle, and it 100% helps with acne. It's helped me a ton. And actually, one of my friends had just started using it, and it's kind of expensive. You know, it's kind of something that you have to make sure that you can afford. However, if it works, then make it happen. So she was kind of reluctant because of the price, but she started using it, and then I saw her, and she was like, oh my gosh, like, I love this product. And I told her, I was like, yeah, your skin looks really good, actually. And I'm so happy that it's worked for her, because it worked for me, and I hate recommending products to people if they think that it sucks, because then it makes me like look bad. Not look bad, but like I recommended it. So I try to only recommend products that I want people to use, which just reminds me, I forgot to do an Amazon review / product. So I will do that at the end of the podcast. So yeah, that's been my life, pretty much constantly bleeding, my son's surgery, and yeah. Other thoughts that have been going through my head lately is I started working out again recently. And for those of you who don't know or haven't listened to my past podcast episodes, I used to be a bodybuilder. So I used to work out 5 times a week, be very, very strong, lift weights. And now I think like something is literally wrong with me, because I did a 15-minute workout, and you guys, I don't know why this fucking happens. If anyone knows why this happens, reach out to me. I did a 15-minute workout. I wasn't sore the day of. It was an easy workout. I was good to go. 2 days later, I'm in extreme pain, and my thighs were swollen. Like, my thighs usually don't touch, which is fine if you guys' thighs touch or whatever. Like, I wish mine did. Like, I wish I was thick, but mine just don't. But they were swollen to the point where they were touching like all the way down to my knees. So my thighs were just big, puffy, not comfortable. I could barely walk. It wasn't like a normal sore. It was like uncomfortable to the point if I was sleeping, the pain would wake me up in bed. And my legs were swollen for a good 4 days. No, a good 5 or 6 days after my workout. And that is just like not normal to me. So I don't really know why that happens or what's going on. I have this scale, and it tells you like your water percentage, your protein intake, a whole bunch of detailed things. And like my protein intake was good, everything was good. So I don't know why that's happening. I searched this thing called DOMS, delayed onset muscle syndrome, I think it's called, and that kind of seems like what it's like, but it doesn't explain why my legs were that swollen. But yeah, so I'm thinking about talking to my doctor to see if she can refer me anywhere to get my body tested to see if there's like not a chemical imbalance, but like a I don't know, like a cell count, or I don't know. I want to see if there's any testing that can be done to see why my body isn't recovering properly, because also the soreness was disproportionate to my 15-minute workout. So that alone really set me back on my week, because I've just been so sore to like do anything, like even me wanting to clean the house, like moving anything, it just wasn't working. So I've been taking a lot of baths I did like a TikTok on this. I do like a CBD detox muscle soreness bath. I add some deep muscle relaxer essential oil into my bath, but that didn't really seem to help a lot. It helps a little bit, but that's about it, which brings me to my next thought. So I was talking to someone and they were like, you shower after your bath? And I'm like, well, duh. Like, when I'm in the bath, I like it to be like a hot tub, so super hot. So I'm sweating. The detox stuff that I put into my bath makes me sweat extra. And also just all the dirt on my body I'm sitting in it, in my bath. So I'm sweating. I'm sitting in my own body, like dirt, whatever was on my body. Like, of course, I want to take a shower and wash all of this off. Like, why wouldn't I? Like, if I got out of the bath and didn't shower, I would have sweat dried onto me. Like, that's disgusting. So to hear that some people don't shower after their bath is kind of weird to me. I'm sorry if you don't, but I don't know, maybe think about it. But then I thought about like kids. So I give my son a bath, and most people give all their children a bath up into a certain age to the point where they can take a shower. But like, I don't shower my son after his bath. And then I got to thinking like the same thing, like he's sitting in his own body, like dirt and stuff. Like, why wouldn't we shower them off? Or I don't know. So I have like all these racing thoughts all the time, and I was just wanting to do this podcast welcoming you guys into my freaking brain and what I think about on the daily. Like, that's so random, but yeah. So do you guys shower after your bath? Let me know. Another thing that I've been thinking about is I did a YouTube video about a subscription box that I just got, and I love surprises. So I always buy subscription boxes or mystery boxes from companies, and it's just like a good feeling to see like, I got this gift in the mail. Like, yeah, I paid for it, but like I don't really know what I'm getting in the box, right? So it's like a surprise. But I was thinking like I could make my own mystery boxes and I could sell them to people. Like, people can have this excitement just like I do. So I was thinking, like, would you guys buy a mystery box from me? I originally was thinking like a $20 box, but then I was thinking like, maybe they should be priced. Sorry, I just burped. That's gross. Maybe I should price them a little bit higher based off of the box value. So if I have products and I'm like stuffing this box and the box value is at like $200, maybe I should price it at like $50 or whatever. Or if the box only values at $100, then I would only sell it for like $20 or whatever that like conversion looks like. What'd you guys buy? I recently posted on my Instagram, which by the way, you guys should go follow, CaseyDXN, CaseyDXN. I will put that in the description. That is the one that goes to my podcast and YouTube. So I posted on that, my story, and I was like, would you guys buy mystery boxes from me? I got a lot of replies of like, yes. And I've also sent out mystery boxes before to, I think it was 5 people, and I got 2 people to reply to my DM. I had DM'd them and was like, hey, can you just like send me a quick message saying that you got your box for credibility? So I posted that they did confirm that they got their boxes. So like I'm not a scam, or people will be more willing to buy a box knowing that I do I do send them out in the mail and it's not fake. I don't know. I'm just like all about helping people and like creating that happiness for people, but like also I'm looking to like make a little bit of extra money on the side and thinking about like what can I do to get that? What can I do for a little bit of extra income to support my mortgage or to pay my phone bill or whatever? Like what little can I do to help create myself to be in a surplus? Which I think I'm going to do a podcast about that, about like what side incomes do I have and what do I look for in trying to make a little bit of extra money. But yeah, so I will, in the forms below in the description that you guys normally see, go ahead and fill out one of those boxes or one of the forms and let me know if you would buy a mystery box. What else have I been going through? Buying a new house. So I want to buy a new house. I just need more space. My son's toys are freaking taking over my house, and I just want something a little bit more homier and stuff. But I was looking at my credit report, which I don't usually do, and this is your sign to go look at your credit report, go look at your credit history, because it can be wrong. I never knew this, but like go do it, because your credit score could be going down or low because of things on your credit report that aren't true. So for example, I looked at my credit report and I don't even know whoever, I don't even know how to explain this. So basically on my credit report, it was reporting that I already have 2 houses and I already have 2 mortgage loans, which is like double of what just one mortgage loan is. And I had to dispute one of those because one of those was not correct. I only have 1 mortgage loan. I only pay 1 company for my mortgage. And so I had to dispute this other company that was reporting that I paid them and I have this loan out with them when I don't. So I think that's a really big factor as to why my credit has been going down, is because it's been reporting that I have 2 houses in a whole bunch of debt and I don't really have that much debt. And another thing I found on my credit report was it was reporting that I haven't been paying off one of my credit cards, which in fact it is paid off. It's been paid off, and my credit has just been reporting that I have not been making any payments and they're late, which again is not correct. So that's another thing I had to dispute. So I hope that once these disputes go through, that they approve them, that they look into them and see that this is incorrect, that my credit will go up. And another thing that I do need to start doing though is start using my credit card, because right now I don't have any credit cards that I use. They're all paid off, and my financial advisor told me that my credit could be going down because of that as well. So I've now dedicated one of my credit cards to just buying gas or buying groceries, and I will make payments on that and show the credit people like I can hold a debt and pay it off every month, or pay a portion every month, that I am responsible to do that. So hopefully that will also grow my credit. I think that's kind of like a funny line, a weird line that you are always walking with credit, because you obviously don't want to get in debt, and people say like, oh, credit cards are bad, but like in reality, like you need to have a credit card and you need to show that you can pay off your credit card to build your credit. So it's like, don't use a credit card to get in debt, but like use it to show that you can pay off debt. It's kind of backwards, but anywho, yeah. So going off of that tangent, I know I mentioned that my son's toys were like taking over my house. So this past week, as I have not been feeling good, I haven't been wanting to do like anything big, but I was like, well, I guess I could take this time and go through my son's toys. So what I did was I brought up all his toys from the basement, and the reason why some of them are in the basement is because I try to do like toy rotation, which is like a Montessori thing, but I brought up all the toys from his basement. I took all the toys off of his bedroom shelves and the living room shelves, and I just like looked at them. I took some and I put them in like a Goodwill pile that maybe he's like too old for, or the toys are like broken or whatever. So I purged a lot of toys, and then I actually sold some on Facebook Marketplace, and then I redistributed his toys back on the shelves, cleaned them up, and now it looks so much better. I feel so much like more free that I don't have all these excess toys like taking over my house or my basement. And also to know that like some kids got toys that they needed at Goodwill, or I had this daycare person reach out to me and she bought like $50 worth of toys that I was selling because they were like nicer toys. But yeah, so I encourage you guys, if you don't have kids, just purge your house. Like, do one room at a time and just get rid of things that you haven't touched or haven't used. If it's nice, you can try selling it. If not, like, just get rid of it. Like, clean out your space, refresh your space, because if your area is clean, your mind is at peace. That's kind of like how I look at it. Like, if your space is cluttered, more than likely, like, your mind is going to be cluttered. So just go ahead and take that time and clean your fucking house and create that space for yourself. Like, you have to live there, and you deserve a clean space to have a clean slate mind. But anywho, that's kind of the thoughts and things that have been going through my head, and I hope by next week I will have more energy, more mental energy to make an entire podcast on like one topic and go in depth about that. Again, fill out the forms below if you have a podcast topic that would be good. I had one brought to me and I'm excited to go forth with it. I think it will be one that takes some planning. I will let you guys in on that. So I had someone reach out to me and she mentioned that I should do a podcast about wearing a hijab and going out in the community, maybe for like a day, 2 days, maybe even a week, and like record that like a vlog or something, like record how I may feel different in the community, or how people treat me different, or how people look at me different, or how I feel walking in a hijab. And I think she brought this attention and idea to me because she wears one, but she hasn't always worn one. And I think that maybe she has noticed a difference of her life in the community, which is super sad. Like, we all should be treated the same, and we all should be not have that worry that people are going to look at us differently if we do this for our religion or our culture. But the reality is like we are living in that type of world. So I think that would be a really fun like social experiment to make myself more aware of other cultures and other religions, and like how those people can be affected in the day-to-day life. So I think that would be a very interesting topic to talk about and social experiment. But yeah, that is all I have for you guys today. I hope that you guys just kind of liked this random, I don't know, smorgasbord of bullshit that I have to talk about. And I will do an Amazon review, and we will see you next week. In time for the Amazon review, as I told you guys earlier in this episode, I was purging my house, reorganizing my son's toys, which meant I needed some organizing bins to do that. So I actually bought these black bins that come in multiple different sizes. It's a 7-piece set, and it's called Sorbus Storage Woven Basket Bins. And these have came in handy. They're different sizes. Like I said, it's a 7-piece set. So I could kind of maneuver like what I needed where in his shelves and what toys can go in what. But yeah, so I encourage you guys to click on the link below, check out those bins if you need some storage ideas. And once again, I'm sorry about my voice. I'm not doing too good, but hopefully next week I won't sound so terrible. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode.